With the reveals of Galbrena and Qiuyuan, Kuro Games is making a deliberate statement about where Wuthering Waves is heading. It is easy to look at drip marketing and just see the cool art, but when you look closer at how these two characters are designed, their apparent roles in the story, and even their release timing, a clear strategy begins to take shape. So today we will go beyond their surface appeal, which is obviously super high, to analyze what they represent for the future of the game's story, its gameplay, and its relationship with the community. To understand this statement, we have to start with the character that embodies this new level of complexity the most, Galbrena.
Let me introduce you to 𝗖𝗍𝗆𝗆𝗵𝘁, a formal game top-up platform developed by the trusted LD Player Emulator Group, guaranteeing safety and reliability for your in-game purchases. 𝗖𝗍𝗆𝗆𝗵𝘁 offers unbeatable prices on Wuthering Waves Lunites and other in-game items like the Lunite subscription or Battle Pass. You can easily compare their prices, which help you save up to 25%. This means more pulls, more resources, and more power for your favorite resonators. Now let's talk about the top-up process. For Wuthering Waves top-up, you need to provide your game UID and password to 𝗖𝗍𝗆𝗆𝗵𝘁's secure system. It is crucial that you do not log into the game yourself during this recharge process. Once completed, they will securely log out and clear all login records. For maximum account security, they even recommend changing your password after completion, which is a great practice. This ensures a smooth and secure transaction every time. It is 100% safe, and there is no account that got banned until now. Buying your Kuro account here would help completing the top-up quicker. It is streamlined, efficient, and you will see your Lunites or subscriptions appear in your account in no time. And here is something awesome for all of you watching. If you're a new user and you register using my special link, you will get a fantastic 15% off coupon. That is a massive saving of up to $50 on your Wuthering Waves top-ups, letting you grab more Lunites for less. Plus, keep an eye out for an exclusive 5% off bonus you might activate just for being a first-time user. And for those dedicated rovers who want to keep pushing their limits, if you spend over $80 in 1 month on 𝗖𝗍𝗆𝗆𝗵𝘁, you can claim a free Lunite subscription just for topping up what you normally would. Make sure to claim it on the 𝗖𝗍𝗆𝗆𝗵𝘁 homepage. So if you're looking for a secure, affordable, and efficient way to top up your Wuthering Waves account and get those crucial Lunites or a subscription using my link in the description, 𝗖𝗍𝗆𝗆𝗵𝘁 is the way to go. Now let's get back into the video.
When we look at Galbrena, the first takeaway is that Kuro is putting forward a carefully built idea. Something more than just another character to fill a banner slot. They start laying this groundwork before you even see her model. They do it with her titles. On one hand, she is the fiend of ever-burning flame, and on the other, she is the devil, ever bathed in purifying flames. You don't have to be a genius to see the contradiction there. It is like calling someone a monster whose only job is to hunt other monsters. They're telling you from the start that her identity is built on a conflict. She is using something destructive for what she believes is a righteous, or at least a purifying cause, which immediately signals her story isn't going to be a simple one. That same complexity is built directly into her design. Her core weapon is a pistol. Simple enough, you know? She has a gun, so she is a gunslinger. It grounds her in an archetype we all understand. But that is where the simple part ends. The smaller details like the snake motifs in her belt and her earrings point to this having Egyptian-inspired symbolism. Basically, that is just a fancy way of saying it hints her story is much older and has deeper roots than just a modern gunslinger. You know what I'm saying? It is a small cue, but it tells you there is more going on than what you see on the surface. Speaking of which, we have to talk about the community's reaction to her physique. A lot of the conversation immediately focused on her well-defined abs. It is easy to dismiss that, but I think that is missing the point of why it mattered to people. The point here goes beyond simple appeal. It is about a character's design actually reflecting their power. She looks strong, she looks capable. Her design tells you she can actually do the things her story claims she can. It is a step away from the conventional trope of a legendary warrior who looks like they've never seen the inside of a gym. With Galbrena, her appearance and her supposed role match up, and that kind of thoughtful design is something people clearly appreciate. This level of detail in her identity is clearly meant to set up something significant in the story, and that significance becomes clear when you look at the dominant theories about her past. This is where she goes from being an interesting character into a potentially critical one. Her stated mission to hunt the Trinodians puts her on a direct collision course with Karthitya, a character we, the players, have spent spend considerable effort trying to save. This is a clever move by the writers. It injects genuine moral ambiguity, where things just aren't clear. The story is no longer a simple good guy versus bad guy situation. Instead, you are stuck in the middle. Do you side with the ally you have grown to care for, or the fallen hero on her own righteous crusade? There is no easy answer. The conflict deepens, however, because it seems Kuro is deliberately setting her up as the dark mirror to the rover. There is a whole theory that Galbrena is just another rover, and the parallels are too specific to be a coincidence. Visually, she is consistently shown with a single powerful wing, which should sound familiar. And then there's the fact she is always talking to some disembodied voice. Again, very similar to the rover's relationship with Abby. She is what's known as the narrative foil. Well, basically, she is just there to show an alternate path, a what-if scenario. You can see the difference in their core beliefs. While the rover's path is about understanding and purifying, Galbrena is one of total annihilation. Her mantra is simple: all Drenodians must die. No questions asked. This clash in their methods has a deeper purpose. It sets up a philosophical conflict about the nature of power and mercy. It forces you to ask some hard questions. Is the rover's way always right? Is there a point where mercy is a mistake? Is Galbrena's brutal approach justified? Through her, we are forced to look at our own power and question how we have been using it. Through Galbrena, the game forces us to confront some very gray areas. But the second character reveal, Qiuyuan, seems designed to bring a different kind of clarity. Where Galbrena adds complexity, Qiuyuan's purpose is more direct, and it starts with his design as a classic archetype. He is, to put it simply, the quintessential wuxia hero. He is the wandering martial arts master from movies and novels, wielding his signature sword, looking effortlessly cool with a high ponytail. It is a design that just works. It is timeless, and it resonates so strongly because it is a powerful and familiar fantasy. His design, however, is more than a safe choice. It is a very calculated response to the community. For a while now, the banners have been very female-centric. Qiuyuan's reveal was a huge moment for the husbando collectors. This is Kuro basically saying, we hear you, and yes, cool male characters will always have a place here. It proves they believe a diverse roster is commercially viable. But with that excitement comes a specific fear, the reoccurring anxiety that he might be relegated to a niche support role. People see this powerful looking swordsman, and they want him to be a powerful swordsman in the game. The worry is that he will end up as a character you just swap in for a quick buff. For a design this strong, that would feel like a huge waste to many players. And even though his archetype is classic, Kuro added one strange detail to get people talking: the bamboo object on his back. No one's sure what it is. A portable speaker, a camera, a fishing pole, a dild. The theories are all over the place, and that is the point. This one detail gives a seemingly straightforward character a layer of mystery. One of the more interesting theories is that it hints at a future connection to the more technologically advanced New Federation. The idea that this traditional swordsman might have ties with the sci-fi part of the world is a fascinating one. So he's a character who appeals to a specific part of the player base, with just enough mystery to keep things interesting. But his most critical function might be how he helps manage the story itself. That function becomes obvious when you consider where the game's plot has been and where it needs to go next. Before we get to that, there is one more compelling theory that adds to his mystique: the idea that he is a blind swordsman. This is a classic character trope. We see this one everywhere, in both Eastern and Western media. The warrior who has lost their physical sight but has gained heightened senses. It is popular because it instantly communicates a high level of mastery. It tells you this is a character who has overcome a great limitation and is probably far more skilled than he lets on. And this aura of a seasoned, mysterious master is important because it gives him the authority to do his main job, acting as a narrative bridge, like a tool the writers use to connect two different parts of the story. And for a while, the plot has been heavily focused on the new region, Renacita and Septimont, in a long self-contained arc. Eventually, you will need to move on to the next plot. The speculation is that he will appear in the epilogue of the Renacita storyline, the part after the main conflict is over, to guide the player and the entire plot into another arc or something like that. This doesn't feel like a random character invented last minute to solve a problem either. The writers are clearly trying to weave him into the existing story. There are theories that he could be the master that Genshin mentioned, or his arrival is connected to Scar's prison break. Maybe he is important to these unresolved plot threads. His appearance feels earned and intentional. While so together, they represent a dual approach to the game's narrative. Galbrena complicates it while Qiuyuan keeps it on track. This same strategic thinking applies directly to how they will change the gameplay. Looking at their rumored kits and the players' theories, their purpose seems to be less about individual strength and more about enabling cohesive team building. They are designed to work really well with a specific group of other characters, making the whole team stronger. Galbrena is the clearest example of this. She seems poised to be a capstone for a new team type, the most important piece that makes the whole team structure complete. For a while, the fusion element has felt like it has been missing that one top-tier main damage dealer. The analysis suggests that she is that character, designed to create a formidable fusion team alongside specific characters like Brandt and Changli, Lupa, or even the mixture of any of them, I don't know. From the way it's going, she might not just add power, she completes a puzzle that Kuro has been building. She makes an entire element and its existing characters much more viable, more useful in the hardest parts of the game. Now, Qiuyuan's impact is a little bit different. He enters into a direct conversation with the current king of his element, Qiyan. Whenever a new damage dealer comes out for an element that already has a strong one, the discussion always centers on a few key things. Is the new character a direct power creep, a side grade, or a sub DPS? Will the new character be so much better that they make the old one obsolete? Or will it be just as strong but in a different way? The fact that this conversation is happening indicates Qiuyuan is designed to carve out his own unique spot in the Arrow meta. He isn't meant to be a simple replacement for Qiyan, but an alternative or a partner. He gives players more options, which is always good for the game's long-term health. It is a deliberate evolution of the game's combat. So after looking at the designs, the narrative, the meta, what is the final takeaway? The takeaway is that Galbrena and Qiuyuan are far more than new units to pull for. They feel like cornerstones for the next phase of the game, the foundational pieces that show us where the developer's philosophy is heading. They really represent two different but equally important pillars of that philosophy. On one side, you have Galbrena. She represents the push towards complexity, a more morally gray story that challenges the player, and a higher skill ceiling in gameplay that rewards mastery. She is all about making the game deeper. And on the other side, you have Qiuyuan. He represents stability and responsiveness, a commitment to getting the main plot on track, and a clear signal that they are listening to what different parts of the player base wants. He is about making the game's foundation stronger. When you have both of these things happening at the same time, it signals that Wuthering Waves is entering a new phase, one that is more complex in its storytelling, more responsive to its community, and honestly, more strategically confident in its business decisions. How well these two characters land isn't a short-term question. Their success will likely define the trajectory of the game as it moves towards its next major version update and beyond. But that leaves one final question, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it. Between Galbrena's push for a morally gray narrative and Qiuyuan's role in stabilizing the main plot, which approach do you feel is more critical for the game's long-term success? Let me know your perspective in the comments down below, but that is all from me, 𝗖cie𝗽𝗆𝗆𝗿𝗵, and